What's up, everyone? Michael Heath with Get Automating. And today we're going to talk about agents. James Bond was a pretty good agent. Austin Powers was okay. Agent Orange, not so great. Microsoft Agents, pretty fantastic. Sean Connery is probably better than Microsoft Agents.
Get Automating, enhancing humans daily.
All right, so today we're going to talk about Microsoft Agents. What are they? Where do they live? How much effort does it take to publish one of these bad boys? Let's take a look. And agents, right? These are an extension of Copilot for M365. These are your AI assistants at work. So what we're really aiming to do here is create something that is very tailored to a specific space of knowledge. And that's what the agent is used for in this particular context, where we're going to talk about little nuances and fine-tuning capabilities as we go along. But the agent is your companion. So we're here in Biz Chat. We do have the capability to pull from existing prefabbed agents, but we're going to create one today. So we're going to start here in this pane. We have two different options, describe and configure. We're going to start with describe. I like to lay down the framework there, and then I'll go in and fine tune it with configuring. So what we're going to do today is build out a Power Platform agent. We're going to kick things off just describing what we want out of the agent. We're going to pop in this prompt. You are a Power Platform licensing expert. Offer strategy and answer related to Power Platform licensing. Only use content from the licensing knowledge provided. More on that later. Let's see what happens. All right, so it does its thing. The agent is now set up to provide expert advice. All right, so Power License Advisor. Let's call that something different. Let's go with Power Platform Guide. All right, let's refine instructions. What should be emphasized or avoided? Well, I don't want legacy licensing, which I don't know how many remnants in the document I'm going to feed it, which is the licensing guide, has legacy information. The response is only going to be as good as the data that you're providing it. So keep that in mind. How would you like it to communicate? Let's go friendly. All right, everything's been updated for the refinements. No, however, I do. I'm not going to respond in the chat there, but I am going to come over here to configure, and we have some more options here, or rather a summary of the chat so far, that interaction that we've had with the agent that helps us create the agent. So let's go in here, give it an icon, save it out. Notice the description. Again, this is that interaction you've had with the agent. We've got some instructions broken down line by line here. Again, part of that conversation that we've already had with it. We're going to give it some knowledge now. All right, so what I've done here is I pointed it to a SharePoint document. This happens to be the Power Platform licensing guide. Now, a couple things I want to mention. In a production level scenario, you probably would want to point that to a site as opposed to a document. As your repository grows, additional information comes in. You want to be able to capture that without having to go back and manually configure the bot to add in new data sources. So keep that in mind. The other thing that I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to turn off web content. The reason I'm turning off web content is because the document that I'm feeding it is pretty comprehensive. It's about 60 pages or so last time I checked. But I also want to avoid legacy licensing that may be out there in the web, and that can get confusing. So I want to limit everything that I feed the bot in context of that licensing guide that is most current. Actions, this is available in Copilot Studio, that larger experience. This is more of that lightweight experience. So we're not going to talk about actions today. That's really what takes it from an agent to an autonomous agent. Lastly here, it gives us some starter prompts to kick things off. You'll notice those are already populated over at the right-hand side in the preview pane. I'm pretty happy where we're at right now. So let's go ahead and create this bot. All right, gives us a link to share with people, and then we can go directly to the agent. All right, so we've arrived, the Power Platform Guide, got our icon, got a title, got our starter prompts in here. Let's take a look at licensing types. All right, so as we work through this, we can see Power Apps, got that right. Power Automate, it's got some stuff right. It's also, again, pulling in some information that probably isn't relevant anymore per user, per flow, the unattended RPA add-on. But as you can see, if I bring the document over right here, Power Automate unattended RPA add-on. So let me re-emphasize that the response that you get is entirely dependent on the instructions, the prompt engineering, but largely the data that's behind the data that's in your knowledge source. So keep that in mind. Let's wrap things up with giving it the licensing that I need in a particular scenario. So I am creating an automation with SharePoint as the data source. Do I need additional licensing, or will my E3 cover this? I would suspect it should come back and tell me I'm fine. E3 will cover anything that's a standard connector. But let's take a look. Limited power automate capabilities, which should cover basic automation scenarios involving SharePoint as a data source, specifically 365 E3. So great. Outlines it there, talks about the premium connectors and advanced features. That's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. And again, it comes back with the sources. We're only giving it one source. So in this particular use case, it's not that relevant. But there you have it. All right, Microsoft agents, lots to love. Check it out. You could be the next 007, saving the day. So simple, so easy to create. Get out there, experiment, and get out there and get automated.